Good morning on this gorgeous Sunday. It's the 28th of September. I am going to show you guys how to make this buckle folio or buckle journal today. And it is pretty easy and super fun to make. And I think you guys will enjoy making this. And each one of these has a pocket and then a pretty picture and then a pocket and a pretty picture. And I didn't want to cover this up because it matches the background. So I just put this down here. And then there is a pocket behind here and a pretty picture. But anyways, I'm going to show you guys how to make this. What you will need an edger, decorative edger, hole punch if you have one. You don't have to use this if you don't want to. You will need a corner rounder, grommet pliers, and your grommets, a bone folder to get your edges, a pair of scissors, a pencil, and your scoreboard, ink to mark up your edges. You will need some Velcro stickies. You need a, this is 8.5 by 11 regular cardstock. You need cardstock to decorate the front and back of your folio, and then the inside main parts of your folio. You will need 3 sheets of paper to decorate the front and the back of the individual pages that we have in here. These are the thin paper. I didn't think we needed really thick paper. And last but not least, I do have here 4 sheets of black cardstock. But anyways, so, oh, and of course, glue. Let's get started. First, we're going to take one of our sheets of cardstock and we're going to cut it down to 7.5 by 12. And after we do that, we're going to fold this in half. After you do that, you can round your edges on your folio if you want. If you need to make any trimmings because something's a little crooked right here, you can. It's really good to do with a paper cutter. And I set this aside, and we are going to make the pages that go in it. And these pages are going to be 5 by 6. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them here. And we are going to put them into our scoreboard, longwise going this way, and we are going to score 1 inch on all of them. After you have scored them, you are going to fold them, get them really good with your bone folder. And after we get those folded, we're going to start stacking our pages. Glue right on the fold, take one of your other pages and slip it right there on top. And just glue that shut. Fold it. And now you're going to do your next one. And you're just going to keep stacking these until you have all 6 of them on top of each other. After you get your pages lined up the way you want them, you can go in and round the 2 edges on your pages. And then we will glue our pages into our book. Glue your pages in your book. You're going to hold it like this, so your flap is turning this way, and we're going to put glue on the bottom of this. And we are going to turn this and line this up right here at the, just right at the fold, but just barely over from it. So you will have this. We are going to make the buckle part that keeps these pages down because we want to do these things before we decorate the inside. So you are going to get 2 sheets that are 4 by 12. Your 2 sheets of 4 by 12, and we're going to put glue on this one and glue that one on top of it. And then after you get the 2 sheets glued together, if you have to do a little trimming, you can do that. But now we're going to fold this longwise. And if you need to make a score line in order to make it easier to do, you can do so. Then you can get in there with your bone folder. And now you're going to glue this shut. And we want this to be nice and sturdy. So after you glue this together, you can round the corners on one of the edges. This is going to be the edge that ends up on top of our pages, and kind of figure out where you need to do your fold at. So I'm going to have this come up to, I think I'll just bring it right to here so I have 1 inch from there. And now you can take your pencil and make a mark at the bottom edge of the book, not your pages, the book. And then you know where your fold needs to be. So that is where we are going to fold our book at. Get in there with the bone folder and really squish that down. Now we're going to come in here and we're going to glue this where we want it on our pages. So we are going to shut this and figure out where we want this. Make sure this is straight down here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my pencil, because we're covering this all up, and I'm going to make a mark on both sides where I know I want my thing to be in after I glue underneath it. And then you're going to put glue on the back of this, and you're going to set that right there where you had it, where your edge comes to the edge of your paper. So you get that glued in, and now you have your page thing. So now what we do is we can decorate the inside of our book and the outside. So whatever papers you want to decorate this with, you can measure them down and place them on the front, the inside, and then this side of your pages. It's just important to remember that on this side, your paper is going to be coming up to this crease line and not the book's crease line. So you may want to match the left side to match this side, because this side's going to be covering up these 2 things. So after you have cut out your paper and gotten your pockets decorated front and back, and you've done the back and the front and back of your book, do the pockets. And to do the pockets, you are just going to take your extra cardstock that you have or your brown cardstock, whichever one you prefer, and you are going to mark where you want your pockets to be. So this I'm going to measure from this edge of this print to almost where the crease is here, and then I'm going to move this over slightly and mark where I want it here. And then you cut that out. So you would round the corners on the bottom if you chose to round your corners. And if you want, you can do a decorative edge. You can use a thumb punch or a circle punch to make a hole punch in it if you don't want a decorative edge. And then you're going to glue it on the right, left, and bottom edge on the back, just like that. And then you are going to put your pocket right in here like that. And now you're going to repeat the pocket process for wherever you want these pockets at. So after you get your pockets in, now I'm going to show you how to make the belt buckle loop. So for the belt buckle loop, we're going to do the same thing we did for this, and we are going to take 2 sheets of 4x12, and you're going to glue those together and then fold them just like you did with the other one. Now you would round the corners on one of the edges if you would like. So we're going to turn this around to the back, and we are going to place this where we want it. And so I'm going to mark where I want this. I want this about right here to come to about right here. So I'm going to mark where the edge is right here with my pencil, just barely. And we're going to take our scoreboard, and where that line is, you're going to line that up on one of the inches, like 3 or 4 or 5 or whatever. And you're going to score it right there. And then you're going to go over and score it again at the 1/2 inch mark. You're going to go away from the cornered rounded corners that way. So now you will fold those. You want to make sure you do this after all your glue has dried. Definitely after your glue has dried. Otherwise, you will get a little bit of bowing in your paper. And now we're going to go to that second line, and we're going to fold that one as well. So after you have folded that, and you have what looks like this, we're going to glue this onto the back of our folio. But you're going to make sure that we line that up with that bottom crease. So you don't want to go directly on the edge, because then it won't turn. So you want to kind of go right there, and you can play around with it until you get it to where you want. You just glue really, really good on the back all the way up to that first crease. And I am going to put that right here and then turn it around, and we are going to hold it right here on the inside to make sure that that really, really gets glued really, really well on that back side. Now we're going to bring this over and figure out where we want this to end on our front of our book. So I'm thinking I am going to bring it to about here. So I am going to cut it right where I want it to end. And you can round the edges of that if you like. So now when that closes your book, it allows your book to kind of expand a little. So if you add things in here, you can. And this would be amazing to make one for like baby's first year, because you have 12 sides to your pockets here. And instead of pockets, you can put a picture for each month of the year, and then little pockets on here to save the little things, you know, a lock of their hair or something like that. You can tuck it into an envelope and put it in here. Yeah, you can do all kinds of things with these. But anyways, so after you get that to where you want it, we're going to turn this around, and this is where you would either put a decorative piece on it now, or you wait until after you do your Velcro system. And to do your Velcro system, just have them stuck together already, your front and your back piece already stuck together, and you put one on where you want it on this, and then you close this where you want it. But when you close it, make sure you push this up so it gets right where it needs to be. And you also want to make sure it is straight. And then you push it down, and you have your Velcro system. Isn't that cool? And you can do the same thing for the inside. Push it down, and then close this where you want it, and then push that down. And you have your Velcro system. You have your piece over here and your piece up here. And now you can decorate these closing systems with whatever paper you want. You can do what I did here. I cut this piece out with my Sizzix, and then I put a couple grommets in it. That's why I said you'd need the grommets. And then I just took this print right here and cut out a circle with that chair in it, and then put a white piece behind it. And that's what I did for that one. And then I just decorated it with this piece in here. I had to cut this down a little bit to fit on the edges right here, so it looks a little like different here. So when I cut this out, I just used my circle punch to put a circle in it, so that wouldn't come out. And then I did the same exact thing for here that I did on the front, but I just decorated it differently, and then put the strip down and put the strip on this side as well. So this is how you make a belt buckle folio. I love the way this looks, the little belt buckle look on it. You can decorate these however you desire, and they are super fun to make. And I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you have fun making this, and happy cutting.